A lot of people take junks because they don't have the time to sit down and take very healthy meals. I mean, the order for this is either meat pie or this, processed food and all of that, and then the sodas. We need to de-emphasize this. Many people, it will surprise you, don't take water. All right, I mean, they're on the go. They just feel that, I've not eaten today, I need some energy. Can you get me this soft drink? Can you get me this? Can you get me Five Alive? Can you get me this and that? Meanwhile, we can actually do this. We can get these things fresh ourselves. Now, a lot of people talk about the fact that our forefathers, where even at old age, they're still very strong. Why is it that some patients will come to me and say, "Doctor, I'm just 60 and my father is almost stronger than I am." Okay, your father did not live your kind of life. I mean, more.
But your father too did not accomplish.
Yeah, your father did not. Yeah, your father. Very true. I mean, we need to strike the balance. Your father did not accomplish as much as you've done, but your father, did not live your kind of life. All right, in the sense that, there's room for rest when it is needed. Okay, there's room for adequate rest. There's room for bonding with the family. There's room for a lot of things that we take as leisure nowadays. All right, so we need to prioritize our health, and we need to look at what we eat, what we drink. We need to give emphasis to rest. Not that you should those kind of people won't lazy around anyway, but you should still give time for rest. Sleep is extremely important. It resets our body. Some people don't have time for it. We need to do that. We need to make sure that anyone that is treating one medical condition or the other, make sure you give it some attention. In short, give it the utmost attention. If you are hypertensive, please check your vitals and take your drugs regularly. If you are diabetic, same thing, check your blood sugar and take your drugs, and abstain from things that will make the control to go bizarre. Okay, these are things that we need to do. And then go for your regular checks, the annual checks. Go for it. Discuss with your doctor. Very, very important. These are things we need to do. And then you need to exercise. Many people don't have time for it anymore. I'm trying to to carve out 5 minutes for myself. No, exercise, it's not for me. But
what about those whose work day by day carries sufficient activeness?
Right.
Do those ones still need to exercise?
Fine. So those who have a lot of activities in it, stress hormones are there to put your body, to put it under pressure, so to speak, under more pressure other than the physical activity. So instead of you benefiting maximally from your physical activity and your physical exertion, it will be reduced by the intertwine or the interplay of the stress hormones.
Well, that's quite revealing, and I think I have to make some changes personally, because I've often reasoned that if I'm very active at work day by day, it should de-emphasize the fixation on actually going out to do exercises. But now I see that there's a difference in terms of the stress factor that goes with while working and staying active, and the more relaxed
type exactly
that goes with actually the leisurely dimension to it, where you get into a gym or you actually exercise using some of those equipment, making out time for yourself to sort of recreate while you work out.
Right.
That's quite something to take. Now let's move on with... All right, thank you very much for that, Doctor. Now before you leave, this is a very important question, and I know we will have an exclusive episode to discuss it in totality. But let's just hear from you of how, what's the question again? My head is, how we can boost, I want to catch it very well. How can we boost our immunity and stay healthy during this stressful time? Okay, so let's hear from you about how we can boost our immunity. I'm talking about high achievers. and stay healthy in these stressful times. And you know, we are in very stressful times, especially in this country. And the stress or the stressors, I hope I'm right to use that word, the stressors are becoming more and more significant, especially for high achievers who see themselves pushing even harder this time in these moments in order to achieve their goals. How can we boost our immunity, or how can high achievers boost their immunity and stay healthy? Your 3 take-homes, your 3 orders, Doctor.
All right, fine. So I'll say number 1, make sure you eat healthy. You become what you eat. Make sure you eat healthy. And that is talking about, the balance that we were taught in our biology and the rest, with more emphasis on fruits and vegetables.
Okay.
A lot of people don't do that. And then we need to de-emphasize the intake of sodas, of processed food, processed meal, and all of those. We need to de-emphasize them. All right? So instead of going for the pizzas, the this, the that, high calorie, high fat diet and co, we de-emphasize them and go for very healthy meals.
Okay.
Very, very important.
That's one.
2, we need to make room for exercise. We need to exercise. There is no way out of it. You want to be healthy, you want to stay, refreshed and cool. Give some time for exercise. Number 3, you need to rest. Okay. I know that is very difficult to prescribe to somebody who say, I've not done this, I've not
super driven people.
Yeah, but you need to rest because really, if the body breaks down, sometimes it just recoils and you're like, you are hoping and praying. Let me survive this. Let me survive this. You can imagine somebody who, right in the middle of something, suffers a stroke and then loses one. You can imagine the trouble. That's the end of all the dreams, all the quests to achieve greatness. If he's able to survive it, fine. But then there will be damage. Damage, that's right. So please let us do that. Balanced diet, exercise and rest. Fantastic. Thank you very much, Doctor. I am sure those orders will be taken to heart by all of our wonderful high achieving men and women watching the Achievement Channel. And we truly appreciate your coming to the show. Thank you very much, Doctor. Thank you for having me. Very much. Truly a pleasure. Thank you. There you have it. Those are your doctor's orders. This is the Achievement Channel. We do not take health and well-being for granted. It is a serious issue, very important in the total quest towards success and high accomplishment. Remember them, and God willing, next time when we come back, you get to learn a lot more to keep your health optimal in order to achieve at the highest possible level. My name is Ubong Essien, Nigeria's Mr. Motivator, asking you to please stay healthy.
Welcome to Achievement News on the Achievement Channel, your daily source of positivity in communication, where we don't just report the news, we celebrate achievements, inspire action, and empower you to reach your full potential. We're broadcasting live from our studios at the School of Eloquence in Lagos. Today, we have a packed show highlighting the diverse range of impactful events we've covered here on Achievement Channel, showcasing empowerment through skills, development, leadership, and national vision. We begin with a focus on skills development and empowerment. The CVL Employment Trust Fund recently held an event showcasing its commitment to equipping individuals with valuable skills. The event featured training classes in 3 key areas: electrical installation, digital marketing, and catering. A notable aspect of the electrical installation class was the presence of a determined young woman demonstrating a passion for breaking gender stereotypes in traditionally male-dominated fields. Our news team spoke with several students who shared powerful testimonies about how this initiative is transforming their lives and creating new opportunities.
What I want to say to LSCTF, CVL, and KTI is that you have really done well. Thank you for bringing up this opportunity for youths that are not empowered. We thank you, and we hope that you will continue to do this great job for more of our youths out there.
So far in the journey, I've really learned a lot, starting from learning about the SEO, moving to email marketing, down to content marketing.
And so far here in CVL, LSCTF, and KTI, they have impacted me with soft skill and hard skill. And also, I have learned a lot of things that I did not even think I was ever going to learn.
I want to use this opportunity to say thank you to King's Trust International. I want to say thank you to Lagos State Employment Trust Fund. I want to say thank you to Center for Value in Leadership. And I want to use this opportunity to say to every young mind out there, this is the program you need to step up and become who you want to become.
In the realm of leadership, the CEO Summit 2025 took center stage. The 2-day summit themed Future Ready Leadership provided a platform for critical discussions on navigating the complexities of modern leadership. The summit commenced with a virtual session on Wednesday, April 2nd, featuring renowned thought leader like Professor Pat Utomi, who offered valuable insights into the qualities and strategies essential for effective leadership in the years to come. The in-person session on April 3rd, held at the 4 Points by Sheraton, Victoria Island, Lagos, featured prominent speakers who addressed key aspects of leadership. Mr. Rume Daniels delivered an impactful presentation on the CEO as a catalyst for societal and organizational growth, emphasizing the crucial role of business leaders in driving positive change. This was followed by Mr. Victor Gbenga Afolabi's address on innovating for sustainability. The CEO as a catalyst for societal and organizational growth, emphasizing the crucial role of business leaders in driving positive change. This was followed by Mr. Victor Gbenga Afolabi's address on innovating for sustainability. The CEO role in driving long-term impact, highlighting the importance of sustainable practices in corporate strategy. The session concluded with an engaging question and answer segment, fostering a dynamic exchange between speakers and attendees.
We've heard it over and over. To do the same thing and expect a different result is the definition of insanity, right? Yeah. So why are some MDs afraid to call the shots? Yes, we've seen extreme cases where some MDs are actually trigger happy, fire at will. But we have some very, very calm, empathetic bosses. And it's such an honor to have those bosses. I'm telling you, painfully some people take those kind of bosses for granted. Bosses who will not fire at will. Bosses who will temper, justice with the mercy.
In your opinion, do you think true leaders are born or could they be taught?
I think leaders are made. The environment, the people you meet, and the influences on your life determines. Everybody is born blank, so it's not like a talent. It's learned.
Sir, do you think leaders are born or can they grow into the role of leadership?
I think my take to it will be two-pronged. Leaders can be born and some can also grow into it.
Okay, do you think true leadership is inborn or do you think it can be taught?
I think that true leadership can be taught. There isn't any kind of nurturing that you require that you cannot get. The idea, however, is to be able to get the correct people to teach it and for you to be able to imbibe it and impact it on others.
Now let's dive deeper into the Bullion Lecture 2025. This year's event, a hallmark of intellectual discourse on economic development, was themed Architecting the Energy Sector for Nigeria's 1 trillion economy vision. The event commenced with the arrival of guests, followed by formal introductions. The proceedings began with the national anthem, setting a tone of national significance. Mr. Ernest ABMFR, chairman of the Board of Trustees of the Center for Financial Journalism, delivered a welcome address emphasizing the importance of the lecture's theme. Mrs. Tolulokpe Longe, National President of Women in Energy, Oil and Gas, and chairman of the Bullion Lecture 2025, provided opening remarks, setting the stage for the day's discussions. A special guest of honor, Chief Adebayo Adelabo, the Minister of Power, also offered remarks highlighting the government's perspective on the energy sector. The guest lecturer, Professor Bat Naji, founder and Chief Executive Officer of Geometric Power Limited and former Minister of Power, was introduced by the Master of Ceremonies, Sir Azu Arinze, publisher of Yes International. Professor Naji then delivered a comprehensive lecture on architecting the energy sector for Nigeria's 1 trillion economy vision, providing in-depth analysis and recommendations. A panel discussion followed, featuring Dr. Ogo Okiti, CEO of Think Business Africa and convener of the Africa Business Convention, and Mr. Victor Okoronkwo, Group Managing Director of ITO Eastern Exploration and Production Company Limited. The panelists offered diverse perspectives on the challenges and opportunities within Nigeria's energy sector. The event also featured a question and answer session, allowing for audience engagement. The lecture concluded with the presentation of plaques to the resource persons, acknowledging their valuable contributions. Mr. Ray Echebiri, CEO of the Center for Financial Journalism, delivered the vote of thanks. The national anthem was then played, and guests were invited to a refreshment session. We also celebrated outstanding achievements at the 2024 Vanguard Personality of the Year Award. The evening was a celebration of excellence, recognizing individuals who have made extraordinary contributions to society. The event began with the arrival of guests and the observance of introductions and protocols. The national anthem set a dignified tone for the evening. The editor of Vanguard Media delivered remarks highlighting the significance of the awards and the recipients' accomplishments. The highlight of the night was, of course, the presentation of awards. The awards were interspersed with entertainment interludes featuring performances that added to the celebratory atmosphere. The pinnacle of the evening was the presentation of the Personality of the Year and Good Governance Award, recognizing exceptional leadership and societal impacts. Mr. Adekunle Adekoya, Deputy Editor, delivered the vote of thanks, expressing gratitude to all those who celebrated to the success of the event. The evening concluded with a final entertainment performance. At Achievement News, we are committed to bringing you stories that highlight the diverse paths to success and the individuals and initiatives that are shaping a brighter future. This event exemplifies the spirit of achievement and the power of collective vision. This is what Achievement News is all about, celebrating the power of human potential and transformative impact of dedication and the unwavering belief in a brighter future. Join us in celebrating this achievement and in striving for your own. Don't miss out on more uplifting stories like this one. Hit the subscribe button on the Achievement channel and join a growing community of dreamers, achievers, and change makers. Be the first to hear the news that motivates, stories that empower, and insights that elevates. Also visit our website at www.achievementchannel.com for more. See you next time on Achievement News, where every story is a step towards empowerment. My name is Comfort Edonise Basi. Thanks for watching.
Success is not just about what you do, but how you show up. Your style speaks before you do. Style is confidence, and confidence drives success. From the boardroom to the runway, your presence matters. Welcome to Style to Success, where fashion meets ambition. Your journey to success starts with confidence. This is Style to Success, only on the Achievement Channel. Follow us at Achievement Channel for more style and success insights.
Hello, and welcome to Style to Success, the show where style meets strategy on the journey to professional excellence. I am your host, Ayodele Oluwole, and you are watching Style to Success on the Achievement Channel, Nigeria's 100% motivational TV station, broadcasting from the iconic School of Eloquence studio right here in Ikoyi, Lagos, Nigeria. On this program, we spotlight bold, stylish, and visionary individuals who have turned personal flair for appearance, creativity, and communication into remarkable success stories. Today's guest is someone whose journey perfectly embodies the spirit of the show, Akinpelumi Akinboye, a seasoned communication expert, prolific content creator, and founder of one of Nigeria's most visited gospel music platforms, BelieversCompanion.com. With over 48 million monthly visitors and 600,000 plus loyal podcast listeners, he is not only a digital media powerhouse, but also a testament to how strategy, creativity, and style can drive outstanding achievements. Akinpelumi Akinboye, you're welcome to Style to Success.
Thank you so much, Ayodele. It's a pleasure to be here.
And I like to say that you look dapper as usual.
Oh, thank you. I can say the same thing about you.
So let's take it back. Let's take it back to the beginning of how you started, your content channel and all. So I like to say that you built a personal, and professional brand. So please take us back. What are those things that sparked your interest, in this communication and media, sector that you have ventured into?
Yeah, thank you very much. I think that's a brilliant question. You see, my journey into this started from a point of pain. What do I mean? Back in secondary school, I gained admission into a particular institution. Back in our days, these days, when you write JAMB and the rest of it, you get an SMS, you are notified about your admission. But ours, during our time, was not like that. You had to go to the school to go and check your name if you've been admitted. So I lost an admission due to lack of communication. And I vowed that I would never be in that position again. And of course, I was passionate that nobody should be in that position again. And that led to the creation of my first blog called School News Nigeria. I think I was 16 at the time. So that was the beginning for me.
Wow, that's a good one.
Yeah.
So that's really incredible, I must say. Many people consume content, but not many build empires out of it. So what was your vision when you created BelieversCompanion.com?
You see, my passion for gospel music led to the creation of Believer's Companion. However, I was not as passionate as I am now when I started. What really happened was back in the days, people buy CDs to listen to music. So back then I was in the Polytechnic, Osun State Polytechnic, and the choir at the time wanted a song that they've of course purchased the CD, but the CD was giving them problem. And someone said, oh, why not put this song on your blog so we could download it and listen and then rehearse it. So it occurred to me that, okay, I could do that. I know a couple of other blogs who promote secular music. Why can't I just put this song for them to download? So that led to the creation of the first one. So my passion for solving problem, everywhere I find myself, had always led me to channel my ability to do things, and that exactly led to the creation of Believer's Companion. First of all, of course, I love listening to gospel music, but at that time there was a problem. This choir needed to rehearse the song. Everybody needs to listen to the song at the same time. The CD was not working. I have a blog already, like I mentioned. I started School News Nigeria when I was quite young, and the opportunity came for me to put up a song for them to download and listen to and rehearse. So I went ahead and do that. And in less than a week or two, I saw that over 40,000 people had downloaded that song on my blog. And I said, wow, so people are actually looking for gospel music. So that led to the creation of Believer's Companion from scratch.
Wow, good one. Yeah. Impressive. Well done, my brother. Yeah. Well done. So let's talk about style. we're not just talking about fashion.
Yes.
Now we're talking about, your charisma, your confidence, how you carry yourself. How do you think that has helped, your success and credibility?
You see, there's a popular phrase that says, you are dressed the way you're dressed, right? I strongly believe that your appearance is your first handshake. I mean, especially when you're walking into a meeting, the first thing people observe about you is your style, is what you're wearing. Before you even speak a particular word, they've assessed you based on how you present yourself, and your style goes beyond what you're wearing. Also, how you carry yourself, how you coordinate yourself, how you interact with people. All these define your style and directly define who you are. So I think style is very important in everything you do, especially if you are in an industry where you interact with people a lot. You have to you have to look at your style and pay more attention to your style.
Good one.
Yeah.
Interesting. And I think that's quite insightful. So I think it's now safe to say that, the way you appear can have a lot of influence on, the places you find yourself, on the doors that will be open to you, on the opportunities, that will be around you in whatever you do. So it's a good one. Well done.
Thank you.
So we'll move on to the next question.
Okay.
And the next question will be, now behind the scenes. Let's talk about behind the scenes. Let's get real. So what are those daily routines, some discipline that you've imbibed into yourself, that you think has really helped the growth of your brand?
That's a very brilliant question. You see, we celebrate success without discussing the discipline that brought this person to this level. You see, growing up, I want to say a special thank you to my mother for ensuring that some principles, some discipline were introduced to us at a very young age. Like for example, up to today, I still wake up every day by 4:30 a.m. It's by default because I'm used to it, because my mom ensure that we wake up early to do our responsibility, to carry out our responsibility before we step out every day. So because I wake up that early, I have enough time to prepare for my day, to make sure that I do. For example, up to today, I still look for stories of gospel musicians to tell through my blog. I have a 9 to 5. So when I wake up in the morning, the first thing I want to do, of course, after praying, is to write about the gospel musician I want to promote at that particular, maybe throughout the day or until so time. People pay and say, oh, please talk about my song for so number of time or for today or whatsoever. So I have enough time to plan that, to strategize, to come up with content that I can share with my team to say, today, this is what we are doing. So I have enough time in my hand to plan and to get my day ready. And of course, when you're at work, you're at work, you face your work squarely. But after work, because I am used to it, it's easier for me to blend into it, do more work before I sleep. I watch TV, of course. I watch a lot of movies. I watch movies. I have time for all these things because I have planned it, because I have done it over and over and over. Okay, this time I am updating my blog. This time I am looking for stories to tell. This time I am engaging with people. This time I am interviewing people. This time I am training my staff. This time is my leisure time. I have a family, I have a wife, I have a beautiful daughter, which I spend quality time with. So because I have been able to plan these things, it was easy for me to play all these roles without conflicting one another. So that discipline, that ability to plan, to wake up early, to do the things I need to do without thinking about, of course, it's difficult sometimes, but you just know where you're going to, you know where you're going to, and you know what you want to achieve. And because of that, you have enough time to do all these things, to function in all these roles effortlessly.
A good one. So it's safe to say that this discipline that you have imbibed in yourself has really helped you to be consistent for over 13 years in the communication and media space.
Yes.
So that's really impressive.
Thank you very much.
Viewers, we'll be right back after this short break to hear more insightful stories from Akinpelumi Akinboye. Stay tuned.
Again, my name is Dr. Edward Bush, one of the co-founders and president-elect of AMEN. That stands for the African American Male Education Network and Development. I want to give a big up and a big shout out to the Achievement Channel for all the great work that you're doing, motivating and inspiring the young people of Nigeria. Keep up the outstanding work, Achievement Channel.
I'm Herb English. I am the president of the African American Male Education Network. Big shout out to the Achievement Channel. Really appreciate all the work that you're doing here and abroad. Thank you so much.
Eloquence focuses attention on the message and the audience.
I found it very interesting and exciting, educative.
It was very beneficial.
Definitely would learn a lot, a whole lot. Thank you. The delivery was second to none. Speak with power.
Speak with power.
Speak with power.
Starts with confidence. This is Style to Success, only on the Achievement Channel.
So, Akinpelumi Akinboye, you've studied at Osun State Polytechnic, Bowen University, Michigan State University, and you are currently pursuing an executive MBA at the prestigious University of Lagos Business School. So, how has formal education shaped your, success?
That's a very brilliant question, and I think I'll dwell on it a bit because, a lot of our people say school na scam. My brother, school no be scam. And I will explain. You see, as an individual, anytime you have the opportunity to get knowledge, please get it, whether formal or informal, because knowledge goes beyond the four corners of a school. Now, while I was at the Polytechnic, I mentioned earlier that I lost an admission due to lack of information. Now, I've always have passion for media and for communication. But for whatsoever reason, God knows how He does these things, I found myself in science class, which, of course, automatically led me to study computer science at Osun State Polytechnic, Ire. And after that, I continued to improve on myself by pursuing a BSc degree at Bowen University, just because, you see, I'm someone that I'm relentless when it comes to seeking knowledge, and I always ask questions. Now, why did I say that? I mentioned that I have a 9 to 5. As a Polytechnic student where I was working, the difference was very clear between HND holders and BSc holders, and I am someone that I'm very passionate about myself, about my growth, and I always want to grow. So because of that, I said, okay, I'm going to get a BSc degree so that I could be in a better position to earn more, right? That was the drive. So I got a BSc degree, and I look at myself, I said, you know what, I need a master's degree. And after a master's degree, I said, oh, you know what, I need to learn business, because now Believers Companion started out of just hobby. It was just a hobby. Do you understand what I mean? It was just a passion. But as the platform continues to grow, I see the reason to learn the business part of doing things, and that led to pursuing a degree at the University of Lagos Business School, which of course has opened my eyes and my mind to see things from a different perspective. So to answer your question, I think education plays a very important role in whatever you're doing. Even if you're a tailor, even if you're a mechanic, you need education. It gives you a different perspective. It opens your mind and your eyes to so many opportunities that might be passing you just because you don't know. Not because you don't know how to do it, but because you don't know that you can do it this way to even achieve more. So education has played a key role in what I'm doing, and I'm grateful to God for the opportunity to have been able to pursue all these degrees, and I've been able to learn and apply.
So now let's move to the next one. 48 million monthly website, visits, and about 600,000 plus podcast listeners. That's really huge. So I just like to know, how have you been able to achieve engagement, at that huge scale?
Thank you very much. You see, sometimes even when I check the statistics, I'm quite surprised. But I think success have footprints. There are ways to explain how this had come to be. You see, back in secondary school, there are some things I didn't mention. There are some things I have done. For example, in secondary school, I used to write notes for my mates. So I used to get their phone number so I could call them to come and get their notes. So I was gathering database from secondary school, and I never knew I was gathering database, right? So back in the Polytechnic, I happened to be someone that a lot of people are friendly with. I'm friendly with a lot of people, especially in my church. Like I mentioned, my choir needed a song, so I gave them a song. So a lot of people, when they need help, come to me, and I help them probably to solve a problem, do their assignments, or get them whatever help. I just happen to be someone that I'm passionate about helping people, right? So because of that, a lot of people became my friend. So in becoming my friend, of course, we exchange numbers. So I have your phone number. So after secondary school, NYSC, I was fortunate to be the president of the sanitation unit of NYSC in Ikoyi here. And of course, everybody wants the phone number of the president, so I have access to the database. Now, on my website, or even up to today, any song I'm writing about, I always end it with, if you want me to share gospel music with you every day, kindly send me a message on WhatsApp. So I put my phone number there for people to reach out to me. So all this that I have mentioned are giving me an access to a large pool of database. So I thought to myself, how can I utilize this to my advantage? So I sent a message out that if you want me to send you gospel music every day, kindly respond to this message. A lot of people responded, and for the past 6 years I have been sharing gospel music to all my content on WhatsApp every day, one every day. And because I am doing that, a lot of people who love gospel music continue to tell their friends about me, who continue to send me message, and my database continues to grow. And in doing that, I have been able to keep them together, feed them something that they love, gospel music, every day. And anytime I post something on my blog or record a podcast, I share the link to them to say, kindly listen to my interview, or kindly listen to the podcast that I have made. And they listen, they love it, they share with their friends, and their friends share with their friends. And most of them follow me. On Instagram, for example, I have over 100,000 followers. On Twitter, I had over 40,000 followers. So all these people got to know me from the little things that I do every day that contributed to the growth of the platform. So when I put out a tweet, or I put out a blog, or I put out a podcast, and I send out the link, and 20,000 people are listening in less than 30 minutes or an hour, it's not because of a special thing that I have done. It's because of the work that I have put in, the database that I have gathered over the years, the people that knows me, that know that, okay, if you follow this person talk about gospel music, this person review songs, this person bring gospel musicians to interview, this person do podcasts that can improve my life, they listen and they share with their friends. So these are my strategies. These are the ways that I've been able to gather an audience for my platform.
Good one, Akinpelu.
Thank you.
I must confess, this has been an insightful time with you. So for aspiring YouTubers, media practitioners, content creators, what would you say are those non-negotiable factors for success in this field?
Put in the work. You have to put in the work. There's no shortcut to success. You see, discipline and determination, they work very well. Success have footprints. If you follow people who are successful, and don't mistake success for fame. Fame is not success. Now, if you are somebody that you are passionate about impacting lives, changing lives, whether you are famous or not does not matter. The most important thing is, last week you were able to impact 10 lives. This week you are doing 20 lives. That's success already. So fame is not success. You see, I always say this everywhere I find myself, that you see, the house of fame and the house of shame, they are neighbors. They live very close to each other. The only thing that separates it is just grace. So if you chase fame, as humans, Yoruba people have a proverb. They say, "Kò sí bí o ṣe fẹ́ rìn, kò sí bí o ṣe fẹ́ mọ̀ rìn, kó rí má mì." That is, there's no way you will live your life without making mistakes. If you pursue fame and you make life mistake, that is normal. Even the little ones that are normal. Because of the fame, it will become a big deal that can affect your journey, that can affect your brand. So why not focus on impacting life instead of chasing fame? So I will advise young people who want to create content, who want to become a YouTuber or a podcaster, please focus on the goal. And your goal is to educate people. Your goal is to help people become better. Your goal is to become better at your own craft. So those should be your focus, not numbers. Fine, it has been mentioned that, I have over 40 million people that come to my website and listen to me on my podcast every month. Those things are good, but those things are not my focus. My focus every day is to give you a better experience. When you come to Believers Company, I want you to live with a positive impression. I want you to be able to tell your friends about it. So when you do that, the numbers grow. But growing the number is never my focus. Of course, it's good. I want you to also check me out on all my platforms, but that shouldn't be the focus.
This is such an inspiring story.
Thank you.
So let's talk confidence.
Yeah.
You've worked, you operated across Spotify, Boomplay, YouTube, and several other media. So how were you able to develop confidence? How did you develop confidence to cut across these platforms and come out confident and speak up confidently?
If you know me very well, you know I'm a very shy person. I'm the kind of person that if you have a crowd, you would probably find me in just in my space. I would just be in my space. I'm a very shy person. But when it comes to talking to people, facing crowd, I don't know. It's an inbuilt thing. It's an inbuilt thing that has been developed over time. You see, I grew up as a Baptist. And if you are a Baptist, you can testify that from the tender age of 5 or even 4, you face the church to read your memory verse. We call it Sunbeam. From Sunbeam, you move to the Royal Ambassador and things like that. So you face the church. The whole church is looking at you, and you are expected to say your memory verse, your Bible verse that has been given to you to study, So from that tender age, I have been exposed to facing crowds, to deliver my lines without fear, So because I have done that from a very tender age, it's very easy for me now. It's not really easy, but it's an inbuilt thing that's become part of me to come on stage and just face the audience and deliver my speech or whatever thing I'm talking about. And once I am done, once I step out, the shy man is available for you to pick on again. I'll just look for a corner and I'll just be there. Except to talk to me, I'll probably not say hello, except when I'm networking, of course. And those were the ways that I've been able to grow myself to face an audience and to grow in confidence over the years.
Good one.
Thank you very
much.
much.
So talking about young professionals in your field, how do you think the young professionals can build a brand that it's outstanding like yours?
All right, thank you very much. That's a good question. I think it's a question that everybody can relate with. And the truth is this: put in the work. Put in the work. Forget fame. Like I mentioned, forget fame, forget money. You see, value attracts money. Value attracts money. If you give value, if you solve problem, money will chase you. You won't need to chase money. So I will advise the young professionals, if you are interested in growing a platform, if you are interested in creating something that can outlive you, I will advise that you should focus more on solving problems. That is the best way. The more problem you solve, the more relevant you are, and the more money you make.
Good one.
Thank you very much.
I'm sure that's a whole lot of people who can relate with that. And they want to listen to such a deep advice from someone like you. So we'll move on to the last question. And this has to do with legacy.
Okay.
With everything you have built, what does legacy look for? Akinpelumi, Akinboye. And what's next on your horizon? What are the other things you are thinking of achieving, in the nearest future?
Thank you very much. You see, I happen to be someone who I don't really think a lot about the future. I just take it a day at a time. But if you ask me that, what does legacy means to me, I think it will be the children that I will leave behind. Because as far as I'm concerned, these children that God had given to me, they've been given to me for me to train them, for me to model them, for me to prepare them for what they intend to bring into the world, to make the world a better place. So I think my children are going to be the legacy I will leave behind. Of course, I'm doing all this with the intention that someone will continue to do it. For example, someone will be passionate enough to promote African gospel music and say, oh, I want to work with you. I want to do what you're doing, or I want to take over Believer's Companion from you. I'm not going to compel my children to say, oh, I have built this thing, this is my legacy, you must continue. No, they are free to do anything they want, but in all they choose to do, let them excel. Let me prepare them. Let me ensure that I built them to impact the world positively. And in doing that, I think that is my legacy. If they can pass it on to their own children, to say, okay, grandpa started from here, grandpa built to here, and grandpa said this to us, and this is why I'm telling you, because I think this has helped me to become who I am today, and I want you to model your life after grandpa, because he did this, he was able to achieve this and this and this, and he led me to follow my own path, and now I have done all this, and I want you to emulate this and continue to impact the world positively. I think that's my legacy. I think that will give me a great satisfaction than any other thing in this life.
This is so impressive, and I must say that we've had, you know, an inspiring episode with you. You've inspired the generation to come, and you've inspired, you know, a whole lot of people that are even ahead of you. So it will be a step to learning new things, rebranding oneself, creating self-awareness, and, you know, projecting a better tomorrow.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Akinpelumi, for sharing all this with us.
I appreciate
and
you.
we appreciate you coming to Style to Success.
Thank you so much.
What a powerful and refreshing conversation. Thank you, Akinpelumi, for sharing not just your journey, but your principles, your mindset, and your style. You've shown us that style isn't just about what you wear. It's about how you show up, what you create, and the legacy you leave behind. So our viewers, if you have ever wondered whether your personal flair could translate into success, let Akinpelumi's story be your proof. Let's continue the conversation. Follow at Achievement Channel on Instagram, Facebook, X, and YouTube for more Style to Success content and updates. Use the hashtag we see possibilities and share your thought with us. I am Ayodele Oluwole. Until next time, keep showing up, stay inspired, and let your style speak for your success. Bye for now.
Welcome to My Eloquence Journey, an exclusive feature from the School of Eloquence, Africa's leading institution for public speaking mastery. Today, we are spotlighting the Dean's Public Speaking class, a powerful, 2-day intensive designed to transform everyday individuals into intentional, confident, and compelling speakers.
I enrolled in this course because lately I've found myself making some speeches and engaging in some public speaking. So I think I should fine-tune the way I speak in public and speak with power, encourage people and inspire people, not make it boring. It's something I can do, but I just think that fine-tuning it and making it in such a professional way, it's way to go. So that's why I'm here.
So my expectations today, I wish to, for now, only to improve in my vocals and, to interact well with around people more.
My expectation for this class is to improve my stage, to overcome my stage fright and to improve on my eloquence communication.
Joining us are Sariondo Kunavhemba Edward, Ojek Chidimma Ann, and Obayoha Ugochi Jessica, 3 determined learners who have taken the bold step to elevate their communication and unlock new opportunities in their careers and personal lives. Their journey begins on day 1, the day of discovery. To explore the struggles they faced and the defining moments that pushed them to seek change, we join the conversation in the studio with Nafisat.
Good day, Ma. Welcome
day.
to my eloquence journey.
Brother.
I have some questions for you, Emma.
Okay.
The first goes, which moment or lesson from day one stood out most and why?
Okay, it's today's class. I kind of want to say that my most basic points in the class is where we had to talk about the tools of public speaking. Yeah, where we're taught about the gestures, how to make the gestures of eye contact, the body language, the beats, and all that. So I kind of like learned the basic things in communicating with people to make it more impacting, like to make people understand and to gather everything together. So I learned how to use my hands, the visual contact, the body language, and all that. So to enable people pay attention more on what I was saying. Yes.
If you had to describe day one of my eloquence journey in one word, what would that be?
It's that very fantastic word.
Good day, sir, and
Good
welcome
evening.
to my eloquence journey. I have some questions for you, sir.
Okay.
The first one is, which moment or lesson from day one stood out to you the most and why?
Okay. I would say the lesson that stood up for me the most is the structure of public speaking. Yeah. The reason is, before now, I don't know how to structure speak. Most time I'll have idea to communicate, but my inability to structure it, I'll not be able to, communicate it better for my audience to get the proper idea of my message and what it's all about. At the end of the day, I end up mixing a lot of information together, which will even contradict the understanding of my audience. But undertaking this class and giving the proper orientation about how to structure a speech, I've been able to know how to structure my speech and what to do if I am to actually give a speech or have a presentation with this. So that particular aspect and lesson actually did a lot to me, and it actually stand out, and I really appreciate that I actually learned it.
The next one is, if you have to describe day one of my eloquence journey in one word, what would that be?
Awesome.
Awesome.
Yes.
That's very good, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you, ma'am.
Good day, ma, and welcome to my eloquence journey.
Thank you so much. Good day.
Good day, ma. I have some questions here for you on your eloquence journey.
Okay.
The first one is, which moment or lesson from day one stood out to you the most and why?
Okay, I can say it was after the presentation was the highlight for me because I didn't see it coming. And then after the presentation, there was a little correction in my head. I didn't feel it was anything, but I mean, coming for the course and the coaching, I noticed that, oh, this could be not a problem, but some kind of fine-tuning of how a public speech should be made, and it was a highlight for me, and I think that was commendable.
If you had to describe day one of my eloquence journey in one word, what would that be? Just a word.
Loaded.
Oh, I didn't see loaded coming, but I think I like that word.
Loaded.
Thank you very much, ma.
You're welcome.
But discovery is only the first step. This program is more than training, it is a breakthrough and a profound mindset shift. Overnight, the lessons from the Dean's class began to settle. Between the end of day 1 and the start of day 2, the hesitation we saw at the beginning began to vanish. Sari Ondo, Chidinma, and Ugochi weren't just learning techniques, they were finding their authority. The transformation is now in motion. To capture the final breakthrough and the results of this life-changing journey, we return to the studio with Abigail.
Hello, Miss Jessica.
Good afternoon.
Congratulations on completing the public speaking masterclass.
Thank you very much.
I want to ask you some questions. Okay. So my first question is, why did you choose the School of Eloquence?
Okay, it was a recommendation from a family friend who has been a member of the school. So,
okay. So my next question is, what area in public speaking have you improved on after the training?
Okay, I've really improved in my vocals, in my boldness, trying to face the crowd, because it has been a challenge for me facing audience. So I kind of improved very well, but way forward I know I'll do better.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Would you say your expectations were met?
Yes, very well, very well. But I wish to advance in more classes so I can be perfect.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Hello, Miss Chidimma.
Hi.
Congratulations on completing the public speaking class.
Thank you.
I have some questions for you today. My number one question is, why did you choose the School of Eloquence?
Okay, so as you grow in career, you get to a level where a lot of public speaking is expected from you, either to address the audience, or you have to make some speech in the boardroom, or you will need to talk to people, I mean, in an exposed environment where you have a lot of crowd and you need to address people or motivate people to do something. So there's need for the fine-tuning and being skillful about it so that you can be able to send the right message.
So my next question is, what areas in public speaking have you improved on after completing the training?
Okay, so I think my body composure, my body movement, my facial expression, the way my eye contact, the way I contact and I connect with my audience, the body movement, not being too stiff, not holding on to the lectern, and a lot has been learnt in 2 days, and I'm really impressed.
Okay, so would you say the expectations you had before you came, would you say they were met?
Oh, sure. The expectations were met in a very short time. I expected that before I could be able to grab something, it would take maybe 2 or 3 sessions. But I mean, even on the first day, it was, like I said earlier, it was loaded, and I have a lot of take-homes, and there are a lot of improvements in my second public speech today. Yeah, there was a lot of improvement. So I have a lot to take home, and I'm impressed. Yeah.
So would you recommend the course to other people?
Oh, I've actually done that. I have 2 people that are already coming. Maybe the next session in February. Yeah, and one said in March. So I've already done that already. Yeah, I'm impressed. Yeah, thank you. Thank you so much.
Good afternoon, Mr. Edward.
Good afternoon.
Congratulations on completing the public speaking masterclass.
Thank you.
I would love to ask you some questions. My number one question is, why did you choose the School of Eloquence?
Yeah, I chose School of Eloquence because when I wanted to improve my public speaking, and I was trying to find out which of the center or which of the institute is very good or can be able to cater for my need. I went online and searched, and I got some names. So when I checked their profile and tried to know where they specialize in, I saw that School of Eloquence was well positioned for what I wanted to get, and was more advanced. Yeah, and even when I tried to search for the preference, the search result shows School of Eloquence first. So at the end of the day, I find out about School of Eloquence. I asked some of my friends, and I get one person that told me that he's aware of the place, and the place is actually good, and that is the only place in Lagos where you can actually get well trained in terms of eloquence. And you try to tell me about the owner of the place and who he is, and I will say, okay, there is actually a place and that I really need it to go.
So what area of public speaking would you say you have improved on after completing the training?
Yeah, completing this training, I improved. I was coming in as, which word would I use to describe the way I was coming? I was coming as a total novice without any clue about public speaking, and I have many lapses, and I have many lapses here, from stage fright to unstructured speaking. I don't have any idea about speaking or presenting actually, but after the completion of this class, I think I'm going home with idea of what public speaking is all about, and how to engage my audience, and how to structure my speech, and what is expected of me from the audience, and what I'm expecting from the audience. Yes, what to give the audience, and how to structure it, and how to refine it, or how to present it better. And in a long way, in my own profession, which is architecture and construction, it's a long way to actually help me to communicate my designs better. Unlike before, where I've struggled, I don't have a clue on how to present my design to my clients. Yes.
So would you say the expectations you had before coming were met?
Yes, I would say yes. Yeah, because the expectation I was having before coming here, they were met. Yeah, and I will say that in this way. If I did not participate in this program, yes, I might be probably thinking that, because how am I going to overcome stage fright and all those things? But most of those things is more of psychological than how we understand it to be. And coming here and meeting with Mr. Esen Obon face to face, and how he take me through the process, I discovered that actually I can, have the power to overcome the stage fright and everything. And he gave me the basic I need. Yes. So it's made in a way, because the basic thing and the bottom line of everything is to overcome it completely, totally, is to practice, and practice, which is, I know, is very, but the basic expectation, I know they are made 100%.
So would you recommend the course to other people?
Of course, sure. I have a lot of people in my mind that I have to recommend this course for, because, and I believe that as I'm going out, at least the difference I will make around my colleague and around the people, my peers, I think they should be able to, be surprised, and probably it's a place for me to. It's my place to recommend a place here and tell them how the journey was and how it is, and to be able to guide others as well.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Congratulations once again.
Thank you so much.
2 days. One undeniable shift. What began as a challenge has become a triumph. Sari Ondo, Chidinma, and Ugochi have proven that when you choose the School of Eloquence, you aren't just attending a class, you are beginning again. They leave here today not just as learners, but as speakers ready to command any stage.
Speak with power.
Speak with power.
This has been my eloquence journey. One journey. Total transformation. Your path to mastery begins here at the School of Eloquence.
Speak with power.
Imagine a world transformed by the power of giving, where every act of kindness sparks another. These are the champions who dedicate their lives to change. Together, they are paying it forward. Champions of change. Paying it forward. Join us and be part of the movement. here on the Achievement Channel.
Welcome to Champions of Change, the program dedicated to showcasing and celebrating individuals who are making a profound and positive impact in our society. I'm your host, Pamela Igbo, and you're watching the Achievement Channel, Nigeria's first and only 100% motivational TV station, broadcasting from the School of Eloquence here in Ikoyi, Lagos. Today, we have a truly remarkable champion with us, a woman who is redefining the landscape of education and empowerment for young people. Mrs. Danielle Joshua. She's an education consultant and visionary, passionately advocating for equity in education through her 3 impactful organizations: Transcend Movement, Transcend Education, and the Danielle Bridge Education Consultancy. Her work has achieved a 100% success rate in helping students secure top university offers, while also empowering hundreds of teachers and students across the UK and Nigeria with vital skills. With a deep commitment to purpose and faith, Danielle is on a mission to redefine what's possible for the next generation. Let's get started. Danielle, welcome to Champions of Change.
Thank you for having me.
Great. It's great to have you here. So I'm really excited about our conversation. It's all around education, which I know you're passionate about, and so am I. So tell us, I know that you already, you have 3 organizations that you are founder of, which is amazing: Transcend Education, Transcend Movement, Bridge Education. It's a mouthful.
Because it's a mouthful.
DBEC for short. Okay. So what inspired you to start that?
Yes, really, thank you so much for having me again. So Transcend Movement, it's funny actually, all of them started at moments of, oh, we need to do something about this.
Right.
So Transcend Movement was the first, and that started when I was in university. And I noticed that I'm a Christian, and there was a lot of young people like myself who had been raised in the Christian household, but were kind of what we would call lukewarm, living as we please, basically, and not really living to the commands of God. And so I realized this, and I realized that I wanted to do something about that. I wanted to help people to really think about their faith and think about their journey and really think about what kind of life they believe that God wants for them. And so I started writing a play, and I realized that we are media. If you want to get a message out, media is the best way. And so I wrote a play and kind of gathered a lot of young people to come and watch, and I was able to get my message across. And so that's how Transcend Movement started. Transcend Education started because I was simply doing mission work in Ghana, and I saw that there was a lot of teachers teaching in kind of rural, deprived schools that weren't qualified. And so they're teaching some of the poorest children in Ghana, but they don't actually have any of the kind of experience or qualifications to really help them teach them the best. And so because of that need, and because I was asked simply, can I come and do something about it, I began. And so that's how Transcend Education started. And then DBEC started simply because people would often just say to me, I really want to get to this uni and I don't know how to write my personal statement. And I was like, oh, this is what the unis are asking for. They want this, structure it like this, and put it together. And a lot of people would get into their unis. And I was like, oh, this is good. I can do something about this. So,
yeah. Fantastic.
Yeah.
Amazing. Opportunity met with need, and that's what made you move forward, which is great. So tell me, why education? Obviously you just explained a little bit, but why young people particularly? I know you shared with me before we started about your growing up in the UK and how you saw the disparity in terms of education there. So tell us a little bit about that. Why young people and why education particularly?
Yeah, thank you. So I think young people, because young people are genuinely the future. I know people say that, but they are actually the future. They are what is going to make up majority of the population in years to come. And when I was 16 years old, I began to learn about statistics that I felt there was these statistics are not good. And these statistics were things like, if you are from a black background, if you are black, African or Caribbean background, you're less likely to do well as your white counterparts. If you went to a state school, you're less likely to do well than those who went to a private school. If you're a black you know, African boy, you're more likely to be excluded and be kind of discriminated. So I saw all of these statistics and I was like, this is wrong. And I think it hit me because it was real. You know, these weren't statistics that I couldn't grapple my mind with. I could grapple my mind with. I looked around at my peers and I saw those statistics happening. And so I was like, oh my gosh, I don't think our lives should be determined because of, you know, where we're from or, you know, how much money we have.
Right.
And so because of that, I was like, no, something needs to be done. And I saw a few things being done. I can't say that nothing's been done. Things have been done, but there's more to do. These are lives of people, you know, so yeah, that's fine.
Great. So obviously you work between UK and here. What area have you seen the most progress in, or what country in terms of what you're trying to do, achieve?
You know, what I would probably say is, I would like to say both. It looks different. So the disparity in Nigeria is huge, you know, from those who are from low income households to those who are from high income households. The gap is very wide. Whereas in the UK, the gap is reduced, but it's there. So there are people who do go hungry. There are people who do come to school and they haven't eaten. There are people from, you know, families maybe where there's domestic abuse or there's physical abuse or all of these different things happening at home, and then they go into school and then we see that manifesting in different ways. So I would like to say that the impact that I've seen it in both, but it looks very different. I think in Nigeria, with the kind of schools that I've worked with, what I'm able to bring, I can see the kind of big light bulb moment with the people because they haven't been as exposed to, you know, what we're providing for them. With the UK, they've been exposed, but they haven't been inspired to do more than where they're at. And so you see the light bulb moment in okay, I can be something. Okay, I can do this. So some would probably say my impact is probably wider in Nigeria, and I can understand it definitely is a lot more in Nigeria because there's more need. But I would like to look at it as it looks different, but there is need in both.
Sure.
So yeah.
And can you just talk to us, expand a little bit more about some of your programs that you do, particularly here in Nigeria? So when you go into schools and you work with young people, what exactly do you do?
Yeah, nice. So one of the first things that we do is actually work with the teachers.
Okay.
And why is that? Because one teacher is with 60 students. So if you want to make the biggest impact, you want to go right where their instruction is being given. And so we train the teachers. We train the teachers on how to improve classroom interaction, how to assess students, how to reach every child at their need. And so, yeah, basically how to evolve into the modern 21st century teacher. So a lot of our work is training teachers. But in addition to that, we also want to expose and inspire the young people. And so the way that we do that is we develop career development workshops. There are skills that every job is looking out for.
Right.
They're not just looking out for knowledge. They're looking out for eye contact. They're looking out for good communication. They're looking out for critical thinking. Are you a problem solver? So we try to develop those skills right from beginning of secondary school. These are the skills that matter regardless of the industry you are going into, whether you're going into engineering, teaching, or accounting. You need to know how to communicate. You need to know how to sell yourself. You need to know how to provide solutions. And so these are the skills that we develop from the young people. We try to expose them also to jobs and different careers as well, because a lot of these children, their reality is what is, you know, in their village or in their town or in their community. So we're trying to expose them that actually it's not just a doctor, lawyer that you can become. You can actually become, you know, go into tech and you can go into this industry. And so we want to expose them to that. We want to bring professionals to their schools and they, you know, engage them that actually this is the industries you can go into. And so, yeah, that's what we do.
Beautiful. Because one of the things I'm a great believer in is critical thinking and getting children to think outside the box. I think even though education, you know, is advancing in this part of the world, I do think that, like you said, a lot of education is about passing an exam. And it's so much more than that. And I see the difference with my daughter who had an education in the UK. One of the things that she learned right from Montessori was actually how to think outside the box. And so critical thinking has been a big part of her life, and I see the difference and how important it is to start children young. So that's fantastic that you're doing that. So in terms of the teachers though, what do you you talked about getting teachers to be 21st century teachers. Break that down for me. What does that mean?
So everything starts with the mindset. I think them understanding, number one, that as a teacher, the world is changing, right? The world is evolving. Industries are coming into the scene that were not here 20 years ago. And so because of that, you can't teach the same way that you used to teach 30 years ago.
Right.
Because of that, you need to be aware that, okay, if technology is evolving, then I need to also be aware of technology for myself to be able to pass that on. If I know that there's these skills, that these top industries in Nigeria, in South Africa, in England and wherever, these are what these industries are looking for, I need to be able to bring that out of the students right in my classroom. So as a maths teacher, I'm not just teaching maths, I'm inspiring them to be problem solvers. And so being that modern 21st century teacher, it starts with the mindset,
right?
And it starts with the awareness of the society that you're in, and then how do we get these students ready, not just A stars, you know, the nines, and they say in overseas, but actually, how do we get them to be well-rounded children? I said this last time when I came. I feel that your qualifications will get you to the door, but what keeps you there is the character, it's the values.
Yes.
And so the 21st century teacher is thinking about that.
That's right.
So yeah.
Excellent. Fantastic.
Thank you so much.
So we'll take a quick break and we'll come back and continue this very important and informative conversation with Danielle.
For us here at the School of Eloquence, our primary focus is on the art of public speaking, because it's a major problem. And public speaking, we must understand, is the raw art of speaker to audience oral communication.
I got a lot more than I actually expected. I have overcome the few years I used to have.
The more you speak, the better you are at speaking.
School of Eloquence is the place you can be, and there's a turnaround. That change you are expecting, you get it there.
Thinking about who your references are, we need to identify them, and we need to make sure that they're okay with giving you that reference. Reference can be your workplace, but also can be your degree as well.
Welcome back to Champions of Change. Right before the break, we were talking to Danielle about her wonderful work that she does in education, both here in Nigeria and in the UK, helping young people transform their lives. So Danielle,
yes,
welcome back.
Thank you.
So tell me, when did you discover that this was your life's purpose?
I like that. I think it was kind of over the years. It was a journey, right? So it wasn't like a light bulb moment. Like I mentioned earlier, I think I would always find myself where there's a need, and I'd be like, oh, I can do this, I can help. And then it was kind of expanded more. I think even when I look at, for example, Transcend Movement, even though, yes, I realized that later on in life, the giftings of writing plays started right when I was in church, and, you know, they were trying to plan for their church anniversary, and they were like, we need something entertaining. You know, what can we have on stage, you know, that would be really powerful and minister to the people. We were young, but also entertaining. And they were like, maybe we can do a play. And I was like, I can write a play. I've never written a play in my life. I was about 12 years old, or probably 11. And I was like, I can write a play. Yeah, because I can just create, you know, ideas. I would always spend a lot of time just imagining a life that I didn't have. So I was just like, yeah, I can do that. And that's kind of where I was able to realize that, okay, I have the capacity to write plays. I have the capacity to direct. So that when later, many years later, when the need in university came, I was able to put it together. So, yeah, I would say along the journey, I would discover need, and I would provide a solution, and I would enjoy it and realize, okay, I like doing this. Yeah, so.
Fantastic. And so with Transcend Movement, is it something that you're still actively doing, and here in Nigeria as well?
Oh, so
tell us.
Yeah, so Transcend Movement has only been in the UK. So we've done about 7 gospel theatre style productions. We've done it in Manchester, Birmingham, major cities, in Milton Keynes as well. And it's been amazing because a lot of people give their life to Christ when they finish watching the play. And we always give that kind of room for people to decide what they want to do. In Nigeria, it's not something I've brought to Nigeria. I would love to bring to Nigeria. I think it would be great. I know that Lagos, we have theatres, which is fantastic, because I know that other parts of Nigeria, we don't actually have theatres and things like that. So yes, we've not brought it here, but definitely if the opportunity arises, 100% would love to. Yes, okay, well, I'm taking this as a sign that I need to plan.
Please do.
So yes, I will take it seriously, yeah.
Fantastic. Okay, so let me see. What are some of the challenges that you've had, not just here in Nigeria, but I'd like you to talk about some of the challenges here, but just generally running 3 different organizations, and how do you sort of wear different hats? What are those challenges?
Yeah, I think it's something that I'm always learning. I think when you run more than one project, it's funny. I always feel like it's so much easier. People that know that they want to do this one thing. I want to be a doctor. And so it's like everything about their life revolves around being a doctor. It's so much easier, I feel. But I feel like when you are quite passionate about different things and you're gifted in different things, it's hard. It's harder. And one thing I've had to know is times and seasons. So yeah, I've had to really know when it's time to ramp up one and when it's time to relax on one another. I've had to learn about delegation a lot as well. Delegating that, okay, in this season I have to trust, I have to put you in charge of this project, that I have to trust that you're going to do, and I've done my best in passing down what I hope to see. And so I think the challenges are just continually knowing the times and seasons on when this needs to start up and when I need to trust what I've done can actually continue. I wouldn't say that this is a challenge for Nigeria. I think it's a challenge anywhere. It's definitely funding, raising the funds to be able to do the work that you're passionate about, to be able to push what you're passionate about. But I think one thing that has helped me is that I don't like to look at what we don't have. I like to look at what we have. And so that's how Transcend Movement initially started. We were in uni. What do we have in uni? But I was connected to a church that has a stage and lights and everything. So you just start to utilize your resources. And I think if you spend more time thinking about, okay, what do I have? And then doing what you have, I do think that eventually the funds and resources that is needed will follow.
So I think, we're living in an age now where a lot of young people are exposed to, technology, which is fantastic. But I guess the downside of it as well is, you were talking earlier about life skills, teaching them life skills. And I don't know whether you agree with me, but I find that the generations, the current Gen Zs, I would say have no life skills, very little, because they're always looking at a phone. That's the downside of technology. It can actually isolate.
100%.
So how does your sort of organization deal with that when you talk to young people?
I love what you said there. I was teaching in the UK and I saw it firsthand that some of the skills that the children of nowadays, and I don't like to generalize, but many lack is resilience. There's no grit. There's no sticking at something. And it kind of, I think it was reducing a lot with the millennials. Like, I'm a millennial, so it reduced a lot with the millennials, and then it's just gone even worse with the Gen Zs, where there's no resilience. And so because there's no resilience, we have a lot of children suffering, going into depression. I can't take this. This is too much. I need to go to part-time education. I need to, all of these different things that was not a thing before. And it's because they're not taught to push. They're not taught that actually if you have grit, if you have endurance, that this is the result, that actually the best diamonds come from refining of the fire. We're not taught that anymore. We're taught, listen, your peace of mind is all that matters. Relax, do what makes you happy. And look, I'm not gonna lie, I love that also sometimes, because sometimes you need to put yourself first because no one else is going to. But then if you don't have the right balance, it's actually, you're setting yourself up for a disaster. And so a lot of what we do is that character development, is those soft skills, is things like that critical thinking, decision making, setting goals, looking at people who have gone ahead, who have done great things, but not just looking at the result, looking at the process. I think we need to spend more time sharing the process, because sometimes I do think people genuinely think people sleep and wake up and then
become this person.
I'm a millionaire.
Yeah.
Sleep, wake up, and I'm a
right. And I think, the advent of a lot of social media, Instagram and
Yeah.
TikTok, you look at people's lives and you think, oh, they've got a wonderful life. And
Yeah.
that's what I think we need to change, that narrative.
Yes.
And that grit that you're talking about is really important. Can you think of a great story you could just share about somebody's life, particularly in Nigeria, that has been transformed through the work that you do?
Okay, so Transcend Education's only starting in 2021. But what I will say, I remember in Ghana particularly, there was a young boy who would actually trek about 3 hours to the location of where the school was. So the family, they were really struggling. And so a lot of the work that we would do with character development with the teachers to also pass down to the students. And so a lot of the time we would focus on how can we support these children in addition to the education and things like that. And so we put money together, helped him to get a bike so that he can get to school quicker. And now, this is like 4 or 5 years ago. Now, because back then his attendance was really bad because he wasn't able to get to school. And this was the best school in the village, right? When we got him the bike, we did the training with the teachers. Just speaking to one of the teachers, they've said he's now in university. He's now studying engineering. And it's also been the fact that the teacher was able to champion with the student. A lot of the time in Africa, in places in general, a lot of teachers, they'll be like, this one, he's not going anywhere.
Right.
Wahala, he's stressed, he's behaved. And some of the things that we try to train the teachers is looking at how we can inspire the children. And that teacher actually said, thank you for showing me that I can actually inspire this child to be more motivated. And so that's hopefully some of the fruits of what we've been able to contribute. So we're pleased that he's doing what he wants to do.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Thank you for that.
Yeah.
All right. So finally, I want you to look into the camera and talk to our viewers, particularly young children. We just touched on it a little bit about finding purpose and why it's really important to have grit.
Yeah.
Because like you said, your purpose, sort of became clearer over time. And I think in this day and age, we have a lot of young people have this microwave mentality that you just, wake up and then it's all there. Particularly in Nigeria, where I think a lot of young people are quite talented.
Yeah.
But sometimes they don't have the opportunities and they don't have good role models around them. And what they see is people, driving around in G-Wagons, having a lot of money, and they aspire to have that money, but not going through the process and not even know where the money came from. You understand? So why is education important in becoming successful in life?
Yeah.
And not just successful in terms of monetarily, but like you talked about character and all these things. So I'd like you to just talk to the young people, the viewers, and inspire them about what they should really need to be thinking about to becoming that person that they need to be to make an impact in society.
Nice. Yes. Okay. So what I would firstly say to all of you is that legacy. Think about the word legacy and what you want to leave behind. I know you want the nice cars. I know you want the nice houses. Me too. Let's enjoy together. But the reality is that you can have the nice cars, the nice houses, but if you don't have the right character to even sustain what you want, you're going to lose everything, God forbid. And then what do you have, right? Where is your identity? Is your identity in what you have or who you are? And so I want you to start thinking about the fact of what difference can I make? Because if you start to think about the difference that you can make, then the money will follow. The people will follow, and lives, not only your life will change, but the people around you, their lives also will change. So think about making a difference that will sustain you, your family, your friends, and people across the globe. That is what real impact is going to make. And that's where true wealth is. So yeah.
Amazing. Fantastic.
Thank you.
Thank you, Daniel.
Thank you so much.
It's been a pleasure having you here, and I wish you all the best with
Thank
all the plethora of things that you do in Nigeria and in the UK.
Thank you so much.
Thank you again.
Thank you.
That's a wrap. Thank you for watching.
Thank you, Daniel, for your insights, your passion, and your dedication, which is truly inspiring. It's been an absolute privilege to have you on Champions of Change today. Thank you so much for sharing your journey and your incredible work with us. Remember, every small act of positive change contributes to a better society. If Danielle's story has ignited a spark in you, I encourage you to learn more about her organization and how you can support their invaluable work. Let's continue this very important conversation. Follow at Achievement Channel on Instagram, Facebook, X, and YouTube for more inspiring content and updates. Use the hashtag #WeSeePossibilities and share your thoughts with us. Until next time, keep championing change, keep making a difference, and keep striving for greatness. Bye for now.
My name is Mrs. Imelda Ahunosuji. You can call me Madam Modesty. Please keep watching Achievement Channel.
Every doctor, lawyer, engineer, or leader once sat in the teacher's classroom, and the world is better for it. I am David Obiayon, a proud teacher. Join me every week as we celebrate the champions of the chalkboard, the frontliners of learning, the unsung heroes building tomorrow, today. This is Teachers World, the home of motivation, mastery, and meaning for educators. Teachers World, airing on the Achievement Channel, Nigeria's first and only 100% motivational TV platform. I am David Obiayon, the smooth teacher on Instagram, and I teach with pride.
Welcome to Achievers Money. Achievers Money is a show dedicated to exploring the essential skills, strategies, and the mindsets that empower individuals to achieve success in their personal and professional lives. It's a platform where viewers gain valuable insights from experts and thought leaders across various fields, learning how to overcome challenges, maximize their potential, and ultimately achieve their financial and life goals. The show delves into topics like leadership, communication, entrepreneurship, personal finance, and more, offering practical advice and inspiring stories to motivate and equip viewers for success. It's about more than just money. It's about achieving a well-rounded and fulfilling life. I am your host, Dr. Ray Echebiri, and we are reaching you live from our studio at the School of Eloquence in Lagos. Today, our guest is a man with a diverse background from entertainment and real estate to logistics and manufacturing. He is also a member of a prominent royal family in Nigeria. Welcome, Kenny.
It's good to be here.
Right. Now, let's start with your experience over the years. You build businesses across various sectors and various countries. In trucking, even in manufacturing, what is your personal blueprint for turning ideas into money?
Okay, so what I always like to think of is, do I need that service or product that I plan on selling? Do I need it? And if I don't need it, do lots of other people need it? And if I don't need it and do a lot of other people don't need it, does the government say we must have it? There's a lot of things you don't need that the government requires you to have. So I pay attention to all those things, the things that people are going to buy, whether by choice or by force. And usually I start with a personal problem and I expand from there. And one of my big rules is I never do anything alone. So I always have a partner. I don't think I've ever done any successful business without a partner. I always make sure I have a partner with me that is strong in that business.
Oh, but many
so that's my strategy.
Oh, great. But many people in Nigeria believe that partnership doesn't work here. It really works for you?
I think they're wrong, yes. I don't think anything else would work for me. If I wasn't somebody who partnered frequently by rule, I don't think I would have been able to do as many businesses. And personally, I don't think businesses work the best if it's owned by one person.
Wow, that's great. Yeah, you come from a family of public service, but you veered off that and you're creating a niche for yourself. You've created a path for yourself. How did you do that? And how do you measure impact and income?
Okay. So that I would have to edit that a little bit. So I didn't create a niche for myself. I still work in public service. I work in currently I'm the young professional council president for FIAPSHI, and what we do is literally public service. So we interact with government. We have government officials that are members. We just had our induction ceremony last week. A couple government officials were just inducted into the organization. So it's like a private public mix, and we advocate a lot for better policy, sustainable policy with Lagos State government a lot. So I wouldn't say I've veered away from public service. I just found a way to me, I think that if you're going to be an honest politician or an honest public servant, you need to have your own money and you need to have a steady flow of income so you don't start stealing or looking at the people's money. That's the way I think. So I don't think I'll be giving that much value to the people if I'm not making sure my own bottom line is secure before deciding to be, and I think that's something my family has taken really important, taken really seriously. It's been something I've been taught growing up, like make sure you have a business that sustains you, then go do whatever you want to do for the public.
Right. You brokered a whole lot of businesses in different sectors, and you are doing well in most of these deals. Now, how do you balance the long-term success of these businesses and profitability, which of course should be the bottom line that every businessman should be looking at?
Yes, so different businesses require different mindsets. So there's some businesses that you have to come to terms with the fact that you're not going to make money today or next year or in 3 years.
Okay.
But that doesn't make it not a worthy investment. Then you have to make a business. You have to have a business that creates cash flow for you, so you have day-to-day money. That's why it's important for me to have multiple sources, by way of multiple skill sets. That's the reason why I've been in so many industries, because I basically decided, like coming out of college, that I wasn't gonna be an employee of anyone, and that forced me to keep my mind open and my eyes open for opportunities. So I try to understand that in order to have long-term growth, you have to have a business that's built for long-term success. You also have to have a business that's built for short-term success so you can stay afloat.
Now, how do you now look at long-term businesses, especially when it comes to funding? You may not have all the money in the world to fund that business. So how do you raise money for the long term to be able to fund those businesses?
It's been a trickier puzzle in Nigeria. In the US, money is cheap and money is easy to get. And the moment you've done a couple businesses that have even remotely succeeded, banks are usually willing to give you money. So that wasn't an issue in the US, but in Nigeria, it's a different story. But luckily, my strategy is to live significantly below my means. Again, once I made the commitment that I was always going to be an entrepreneur and never be an employee, I knew that I can't live fat when things are high. So I'm someone who always felt like if I can make $100,000 a year, and I know that there are people who are living and eating every day, but they only make $35,000 a year, then it's possible for me to make $100,000 a year and live on $38,000 a year and leave the rest for investment and long-term growth. So I set myself up to always have something I can just squeeze cash out of. It's like a plant that in Nigeria, borrowing is just out of the question for me because the mathematics don't make sense. Except for a real estate project. That's a different story. And even then, it doesn't make sense, but we can squeeze some sense out of it if we can. What I was able to do is, this is what I'm a big believer in the return home to Nigeria, but I always tell people, secure yourself there. The U.S. is a place where they have a economic system and an economic pool that can allow you to earn some good money.
Yeah.
So, as a business person, you're mostly losing. Every serious business person knows that you're losing, and then 1 or 2 good decisions are what carry you most of your business career. So the times, what I was lucky for was, in the times when I had my big wins, I kept a lot of my money. You know, I know some business people who made a lot of money, way more money than me, but they don't have any money today because they did everything they felt like when they had money. And so I think I was deeply affected by the 2008 financial crisis in the US. I was in 12th grade at the time. I watched a lot of my classmates, their parents lose their houses.
Mm-hmm.
Luckily for me, my parents were okay, but I know they lost a good amount of money. It just didn't affect them as bad, but I saw people lose their property, lose their houses, people who thought they had a pension. The pension got evaporated.
Mm-hmm.
People had worked 35 years based on a promise, and that got obliterated by a couple of people at the top making decisions. I was 18 at the time. We were just coming into the Obama era. Then I watched Obama forgive all of them.
Yeah.
That affected me a lot mentally. And so that forced me to know that I can never, ever put myself in a position to trust the system. I watched a lot of my people. Growing up, I had friends who their parents make $300K a year, and they look like they make a lot of money, but they're spending $270K a year.
Yeah.
And so I learned from other people's mistakes, family members, friends, just adults that I saw. And I guess I was traumatized to a certain degree. And that changed my financial viewpoint and my way of operating moving forward. So I'm not a disciplined person in a lot of ways, but financially I'm very disciplined.
That's great. That's great. Good to know. Now, a lot of people are not as lucky as you are. In the sense that you were able to get a whole lot of money to fund your dreams here in Nigeria from your own personal savings or maybe, some other investments that are yielding you some returns.
Yes.
But now some people have some dreams and they need to fund them. And the only advice they have, the only option they have is more or less to go to the bank to borrow.
Yes.
And the rate is in the region of 30% now. So what is your advice for those people?
Yeah, so for people in that situation, I say it's very important to, companies do this all the time, but I think human beings can start doing that, families can start doing that. First of all, do a feasibility study on the thing the project you're trying to embark on. Do you make enough, do you have access to enough money? Do you know people who are willing to loan it to you? And are you even comfortable taking these loans from them? I know people who would give me money today. I feel very uncomfortable taking it because I'm not gonna prospect with somebody else's money and then tell them stories. So you have to gauge your own comfort level. Some people have to come to terms with the fact that we can't do this. I need to work for a certain amount of time. Now, I say I never wanted to be an employee personally, but I'm not one of those people who speaks against it. Definitely, I know some people who were able to launch some pretty good businesses because they held on to their job for another 4 years and saved, and time over time, you have to come to terms with your limitations. There's a lot of projects I want to take on. I want to build a skyscraper. I can't. right now.
Okay.
I have to come to terms with that. One day maybe I will, but I have to build myself towards that. Come up with a plan for how you can come as close as you can, as possible to it, and try your best, and definitely engage in partnership as much as you can. Networking.
Great. And it's been a very interesting discussion. We need to go on break now.
Okay.
When we return, we continue with this very exciting and interesting discussion with Kenny. Eloquence focuses attention on the message and the audience.
I find it very interesting and exciting, educative.
It was very beneficial.
Definitely would learn a lot, a whole lot.
Thank you. The delivery was second to none.
Speak with power.
Speak with power.
Speak with power.
Welcome back. It's still the Achievers Money, and we still have in the studio Kenny. Kenny, it's been an interesting discussion.
Definitely.
And let's continue.
Yes.
Now, it does appear you have a way of spotting where the money is. You've gone into real estate, and all over the world, real estate is a money spinner.
Yes.
And you floated Remax One Lagos. How did you come about that dream?
Well, to be honest, I've always been in real estate, like from a family, so it's my family business, Remax. So what we did was we acquired the Remax franchise and now operate as Remax. So over the course of years, my father and my parents have accumulated real estate holdings. I was in charge of a number of them in Miami growing up, but during at a certain point in my life, in my young adulthood, coming out of university. So it wasn't so much that I didn't come up with real estate. Like, no one can take credit for coming up with real estate. Is the oldest time. What we just did is found an appreciation for it. I don't think enough people respect real estate as much as they should. So I wouldn't say that was exactly a shrewd spot. It's just real estate is just tried and tested over time. And I think if you want to protect yourself and protect your assets for as long as possible, real estate is usually the smartest route. So I don't think I could take credit for finding something special in the market from the real estate standpoint, at least. Yeah.
Okay. Now, why did you go for franchising? Why didn't you come up with your own unique name instead of going for Remax One, which is a foreign brand?
So our perspective was, I don't want to reinvent the wheel. We have a couple problems here in Nigeria. We have a huge trust deficit. We massively don't trust each other.
Okay.
And for good reason. Not to say that people trust each other in the US. The only difference is they trust the system. So you don't trust each other and you don't trust the system.
Yeah.
But what we do trust as Nigerians is established brands over time, especially when they're foreign, especially when they're American for some reason. So it's a psychological thing. So people buy with what they're used to. It's like a Nigerian, if you drop them off in the middle of the desert and you put 10 restaurants in front of them and one of them is Tantalizer, they'll probably walk into the Tantalizer. That's just what they're familiar with. That's how people are. So, and I studied data and I saw that about half the new build in Lagos between 2019 and 2022 was bought by people in the diaspora. So they're the ones with the cash who've saved up $100,000 who can convert it to Naira and invest in a property in Nigeria. And I figured it made more sense. Like, actually, my mom brought the idea to me, and, you know, I thought about it, and I completely agreed. I looked at it like, okay, so if I can sell real estate using a brand that they already know and trust, and then they feel like there's some type of accountability, they feel like they believe that I have a great interest in not defrauding them or engaging in any kind of, you know, untrustworthy behavior, they'll be more likely to buy with us, and they're the ones buying at the largest rate. You know, and then also the Nigerians in Nigeria who are HNIs, who have the money to buy these properties, a lot of them are also aware of RE/MAX from their travels and whatnot. So it just made more sense, rather than reinvesting the wheel and then spending millions on establishing trust in your brand.
Okay.
You know, I just figured just pay someone who's already done the hard work of establishing a brand and making it trustworthy, and then use their brand.
Okay. Does it mean that your target is Nigerians in the diaspora, not really Nigerians in Nigeria?
No, my target is not Nigerians in Nigeria. It just so happens that Nigerians in the diaspora are buying at a rate that allows you to keep your lights on, to then launch yourself to sell to the Nigerians. Because you can bring Nigerians up to speed on the brand, but who you really want to impress and target at first are the people with the money right now to keep your business afloat long enough for you to make a profit, to then market the brand to the Nigerians and then make that a Nigerian. So it's very much RE/MAX has a great interest in having a established brand in the largest black nation in the world, with the country with the largest number of people under the age of 18 in Africa. You know, so that's a huge group of people, future homeowners, future adults, future renters. You want to trap them, you want to catch them, but first you need those HNIs and those diaspora people to keep you afloat and keep your bills paid and keep your lights on.
From all indications, actually, you know so much about the Nigerian real estate market. What is your position, or what's your take on the Nigerian real estate market? Is it growing at the rate it's supposed to grow? Or are there impediments, if it is not growing at the rate it's supposed to grow? Are there impediments, things that are not making it to grow at the rate it's supposed to grow?
It's kind of a half and half answer. So it's growing at a good rate. The amount of units that the average Nigerian could even afford is not growing at a good rate. So what that means is we have a lot of real estate that's unoccupied. We have a lot. I mean, I know if you use you're from the Southeast, you go to the Southeast, there's a high volume of real estate, like value-wise, that's unoccupied. If you go to some places in Anambra State, you have 1 billion naira houses, and there might be 100 of them in one community. That's 100 billion naira worth of real estate that's unused because the owners in Lagos or Abuja or in the US or in London or wherever they live. Lagos, same thing, a lot of like land banking, you know, real estate banking. So there's a lot of unoccupied units in Ikoyi, VI. We have a shortage of affordable housing, which is making the price of housing inflated, which is good for like the real estate professionals as it is now. I don't think it's a good formula for the polity at large. We need a lot more affordable housing. In order to make affordable housing, we would have to get into way more creative ways of debt. They would have to make debt cheaper. They would have to create, you know, using different financial mechanisms, create a way to allow the average Nigerian to be able to one day own a home. There's many Nigerians who rented for years and years and years and had to save up for 30 years just to finally build a house. If you're working, if you can keep a job for 30 years and it's a solid job, you should be able to own a house, in my viewpoint. There's many teachers, university professors, many people, civil servants. Maybe they won't have the house they want, but you should be able to own a property that's yours that you can give to your kids when you die. Yeah. And I think that's very, very doable if we're willing to be creative like financially, private sector and public sector working together.
So in Nigeria, mortgage is an issue?
Mortgage is a huge issue in Nigeria. It's a very huge issue.
And what do you suggest, what are the ways we can get around that?
Okay, personally, I think that the bank or banks who are willing to bet on the housing market are gonna win. There's a thing called REOs. So banks have the ability to engage in the business of REOs. So basically, look, many banks in Nigeria don't want to get into the real estate business. I think that's a huge mistake. They use AMCON, but to me, I think it makes sense that if a man wants to buy a property that's 100 million, that's inevitably going to appreciate over time, why not give him a fair mortgage? And then we also have to have very strict regulation on that space, so that yes, this man is going to engage in this deal with you. You give him a loan, he buys the house, you own the title, and he pays over time. If he misses it, if he starts missing payments up to a certain point, you repossess the property, you keep the money he has already paid you over time, and you get the actual house and whatever value it is. But a lot of banks don't want to get into that business. I will never understand why a bank doesn't want to get into the REO business. But the first bank to decide that I'm going to give people mortgages, I know there's a bunch of microfinance. You go to a bank now, they have like 18 G-Wagons parked in the parking lot because they've collected people's stuff. But the issue is that you have a G-Wagon. That is going to depreciate forever and ever. If it's parked in your parking lot for 1 year, it's lost 1 year of value. In that 1 year, they've made another G-Wagon. So that's the issue. So the moment they're ready to face the real estate industry and actually stop being afraid to run a real estate division in their banks, they'll always be scared of the mortgage space.
Okay, now the next issue I would like you to discuss is entrepreneurship. When should entrepreneurs exit if they are struggling with a particular business?
Okay, that's also an ethical question to me as well, because I'm like an entrepreneur, and I personally think you have an ethical duty to, for example, if I start a business, I have a bunch of people, I told them to come work for me. We're gonna grow this thing, blah, blah, blah. I've told them all. If the thing starts going bad, I have an ethical duty to make sure I make it work for the sake of a lot of these people. Some people have given up one job to take the job with me, a job that they could have built their future with. So I think ethically, you should definitely try your best to see it through. So I think it very much matters what the reason for exiting is. If you're exiting because you're at your own limit and there's a company or a business that has way more tools and leverage that can make that company bigger, for example, I think you have a duty to, you have a fiduciary duty to your investors, to yourself. You can make some good money, and a lot of your employees can become part of a larger organization that could take them places they couldn't be, or some of them can take a payout as, original founders. So I think that if you can come out without damaging too many people's lives, get out of it as fast as you can. If you're getting out because it's not working at all,
right.
If you're getting out because it's not working but it can work, you're just not the person who can take it to where it's supposed to go. Then there's also taking on partners. You don't have to exit. There's also taking on partners. Maybe you don't own majority stake anymore, but you can certainly, there's many ways to cut that cake when it comes to fixing a bad business. Now, this is very different from if the business is not working and realistically can't work. That's a different story. But if it's a business that can work and it's just not working under you, maybe take on some partners.
Right, Kenny, one last question, and it's about the youths.
Yes.
Many of them have this entrepreneurial fire burning in them. They want to start their own businesses. Some are also there trying to make money very quickly.
Yes.
What is your advice for the Nigerian youths? Those who want to start their own businesses, how do they go about it? What are the right steps that they must take?
Okay, so one of the things I always tell young people is be very self-aware. Self-awareness is one of the most important traits because it allows you to know who you are, audit yourself accurately, audit your surroundings. There's some businesses you just simply can't get into because you're not in a space to get into it. But you can get yourself into that space. So I always tell young people it's very important to network as much as you can, provide value. One of my lucky traits is that I don't have this sense that I'm not afraid to be used and give you those kinds of chances. You have to, one, be willing to provide value without asking for anything in return. That's something that I've always done. And network, take advantage of the people around you and find ways to give them value and grow. That's how you get into rooms. That's how you get opportunities. The reason why you're even allowed to be here is because someone is benefiting from you being there. If you work really hard to not allow people to benefit from you, you'll get the kind of outcomes that comes with that. I see a lot of young people. I know in Nigeria they use this one. They won't use my head, and I'm like, you probably should let them. That's what's going to allow them to